Chapter 5: The Role of Evil in the World. In your world and in many others, good evolves from evil. By evil, we mean actions that harm others. By good, we mean actions that evoke love. When evil is done, the perpetrator experiences the result either immediately or in another lifetime. No evil act goes unbalanced. The law of karma always creates a circumstance by which the lesson of love is learned. You may be wondering why this is. Why have this as a planetary premise? Why not just have good evolving into more good? Well, that already exists on other planets. That is what higher evolution is about. But first, many beings choose to experience evil as a way of evolving into love. It is simply one way the Creator seeks understanding. The Creator explores life through creating circumstances by which to evolve. You, as offshoots or expressions of the Creator, are the Creator's way of exploring the evolution of good from evil. The Creator is enriched by this exploration, by this experiment. Not all the worlds that evolve this way are like yours. Not all of them, for instance, have beings on them who have feelings like you do. Your species is unique in all creation. Although there are similar creations elsewhere, no one in the universe is exactly like human beings on Earth. The Creator is exploring what it is like to have your unique combination of free will, feelings, sentience, physical form, and spiritual development. It is a difficult combination, to be sure, but one the Creator values for its potential for growth and understanding. Wherever evil exists, the opposite also exists. Even though there are worlds that are based solely on service to self, goodness and love still exist and evolve on those planets. Those who develop love no longer choose to incarnate on those planets. Learning to love makes it possible for them to graduate to planets where they can continue to love and be loved. Love is able to develop on service to self planets because compassion develops from pain, and compassion leads to love. Therefore, those who are victimized on those planets eventually develop compassion and, in turn, love. Those who victimize on these planets reincarnate as victims and thus learn compassion. They circle around and round as victim and oppressor as long as they want, but eventually they choose to feel compassion, which releases them from their prison of oppression and pain. The victims on these planets are often stuck in victimhood, anger, revenge, hatred, blame, martyrdom, and self-pity for several lifetimes or even longer before their compassion is sufficiently developed to make a different choice. Thus, both oppressors and victims on these planets have their lessons. Both roles are played out until the person is ready to move forward toward love. The same dance of victim and oppressor is happening on Earth today and has happened throughout its history. Earth has always been a place where the duality of good and evil is played out. In part, it is being played out here because your creators, the extraterrestrials responsible for your creation, were enacting these same roles on their home planets where this drama was going on. They created you in their image, not because they wanted you to experience the same pain they have had in their evolution, but because they could not avoid recreating their struggles within you. They too have the same combination of free will, emotions, sentience, and physical makeup that make for this set of challenges. Because of their makeup, they could not help creating circumstances on Earth similar to those they have created everywhere they have settled. Some of them hoped to create a better civilization on Earth, one free of the conflicts and oppression of other planets. Some believed that with proper guidance from them, you would not have to experience the same difficulties they did in their evolution, that somehow you would benefit from what they learned and skip over some of the pain, disease, and tragedy that accompanied their growth. On the other hand, some of your negative extraterrestrial ancestors had every intention of continuing their victim-oppressor drama on Earth. They were working against those who hoped for better for you. The negatives worked against the positives by genetically engineering you for the continuation of that drama and by reincarnating on Earth and playing out that drama themselves. Many from service to self races have reincarnated on Earth and continued their drama here. This goes on today, as it has throughout your history. There is an especially strong contingent of service to self on your planet today. The forces for both good and evil, or service and service to self, are gathered in great numbers to play out the finale to this drama. In the very near future, Earth will no longer serve as a place for service to self to reincarnate. Therefore, it is inevitable that those in service to the planet will win out in this drama. But that doesn't mean that things won't be intense in the meantime. The battle for the soul of Earth, so to speak, is on, and you are here to take part in this important time. Whether you sit back and watch or actively contribute is up to you, but many of you know you came here to oppose evil and serve the good, and you will not be able to simply stand by and observe as evil proliferates. What does it mean to oppose evil? This is something that those on service to self planets are learning. Once they learn the way to oppose evil, they no longer are caught in the victim-oppressor drama on those planets. They learn that you do not oppose evil by joining evil in violent and harmful acts. You do not fight evil with evil, but with good. Good is a powerful weapon, far more powerful than evil. Evil only perpetuates suffering, while good heals it. Those who perpetuate evil suffer themselves. They also suffer from a lack of spiritual understanding. So another way to fight evil is through instilling understanding. Those who perpetuate evil do not understand certain basic laws of life. Even if they have heard of these laws, they refuse to accept them. They refuse to believe. They suffer from a lack of faith, a lack of vision, and a lack of hope. They hold mistaken beliefs that keep them trapped in the victim-oppressor drama. Some of them are stubbornly attached to this drama and their pain. They are either caught up in the self-righteousness and revenge, or they have given over all their power and are lost in hopelessness and helplessness, believing there is no way out. One law of life that those caught in drama refuse to accept is the law of karma. Those who are the oppressors do not believe that the harm they do will come back to them, and in fact, their societies do not teach them that. Their societies teach the opposite, that crime pays. Those who are victims not only believe that they should be victimized, but that they deserve to be enslaved because they lost the battle against their oppressors. Their only hope, therefore, is to beat their oppressors, to become the oppressor instead of the victim. And so the drama goes on. Does this sound familiar? It is what your wars are made of. Oppression creating pain and retaliation, creating more pain and oppression. The way out of this is to stop the oppression, to stop the retaliation. But who will stop if anger, revenge, self-righteousness, hatred, martyrdom, and self-pity are celebrated? As long as these emotions are allowed to reign, peace and love cannot prevail. The way out of this vicious cycle is spiritual understanding. This alone can break the cycle. So, there must be an understanding of the law of karma. This law teaches love, not hate. That hate produces more hate, and love produces more love. Something else that is lacking in service to self worlds is a respect for love. Love is misunderstood as weakness on these planets. Loving someone makes you vulnerable to them, and that is potentially dangerous on a service to self planet. The relationships that form on these planets are ones of camaraderie, either in crime, rebellion, or revenge. Any partnerships that develop are centered around such a cause, or based on shared values and beliefs. This is not unlike relationships between younger souls, where the capacity to love and share intimately has not yet developed. Intimacy requires trust, which is a liability in a service to self world. Partners on these worlds trust only enough to work together, but this is not the level of trust that you find in a true love relationship, where there is a giving of oneself to another. People do not give themselves to another on these worlds. Self-reliance and self-protection are paramount, even within relationships. So, on service to self worlds, relationships are formed for mutual protection and support, but they do not serve as vehicles for the development of love. In a world where there is little love, and what love does exist is looked upon as maudlin, sentimental, frivolous, and weak, children grow up wounded and warped. In these worlds, generation after generation is raised to hate and hurt. The cycle continues because no other way of life is known. There are no models on these worlds for other ways of being. You are most fortunate to have both the positive and negative operating in your world. So although you see this same cycle of hate on Earth, you also know it doesn't have to be this way. Knowing the positive, it is easy to see the folly of the negative. That is why Earth is, and has been, such an important training ground for those coming from service-to-self planets. They are reformed here, but only after agreeing to give the arrangement on Earth a try. Many stay on service-to-self worlds for a very long time before agreeing to try something new. Many are afraid they will be weakened by being exposed to a loving environment. They don't know what a loving environment is, so they really can't evaluate it. Others are just more comfortable with the known and are unwilling to try something that is unknown. Therefore, some stay stuck on these service-to-self worlds for eons. Your world has served as a place to teach these individuals about love. In the meantime, they teach others about love through the contrast they provide. They demonstrate for those in service on Earth where service to self leads, and those in service show service to self a new way of living. Those in service on Earth don't mind serving in this way. On a soul level, they have agreed to come to a world that has both positive and negative to evolve and help others evolve. There have been times in Earth's history when service to self has prevailed, and other times when love has prevailed. The balance has shifted back and forth, as one extreme leads to an awakening of the other. Today, the polarization is intensifying, which intensifies the teaching. Those in service to self are succeeding in creating havoc in this world, while those in service are summoning their forces toward reform. The negative forces first seem to succeed, then the positive forces come forward to resist them. When the positive forces are asleep in their complacency, the negative forces rally once more. This cycle has occurred repeatedly throughout history. You are at a point where the negative forces have reached their apex. They will not gain much more control before the forces for good make a final stand. A confrontation is at hand. The extraterrestrials involved with you follow the lead of those on Earth. The negative extraterrestrials assist and encourage negativity on your planet, while the positive extraterrestrials wait for you to engage your will against the negatives before they offer their help. You see, you must show a willingness to oppose the negative, a willingness to have our help, before we will intervene. You must first choose the light, and then we can help you. We are waiting for you to not only choose the light, but take steps toward opposing the dark. Universal law requires that you must prove to us that you want good to prevail. That is how you can summon our help. You are entering a period of great change, and during such times, anything becomes possible. The doors of change open up new possibilities that could not have been conceived of in more stable times. The negative forces know that change opens the door for them too. They are waiting to take advantage of the instability in the coming years. You will have to be very discriminating in the choices you make during the times ahead. If your choices are short-sighted and based on fear, you are bound to lose your way. You will need to be men and women of vision, courage, and integrity. You know what the light looks like and what unconditional love feels like, so you have no excuse not to choose it. You will be continually challenged to choose the light over the dark in the coming years. The more you choose the light, the sooner your world will become love-based and no longer a stronghold for service to self. It will not be long before service to self will be directed somewhere else to learn their lessons, and your world will have graduated to a fourth density, positive outpost. Chapter 6: Our Plan and How We Operate. Just as you have plans by which you run your lives, so do we. These plans, like yours, are changeable, and need to be revised from time to time. Still, a plan is useful in achieving one's goals. We of the Confederation of Planets have a plan of action for our involvement with you. Other extraterrestrials have their plans also. Each individual within the Confederation has certain assignments in keeping with this plan. Their fulfillment of these assignments affects the overall effectiveness of the plan. Sometimes they contribute information or insight that makes it necessary to adjust the plan. Just as your plans take different turns according to the free will of those involved, so do ours. We cannot control your choices or the choices of other extraterrestrials involved with you. We can only try to influence you. You are the ones with the real power because you have the final say in what you do. Some of you have more power in the world than others. Those of you with power are not necessarily the ones capable of making the best decisions, though. Conversely, some of you without power are wise, but have little means for influence. Our strategy is to work with both those who have power and those who do not. We work with those who have power for obvious reasons. Why we work with those who have little power may be less obvious, so we will explain. Many star people have special gifts and awareness, but little power. They have little power usually because they are so different, and sometimes because they are too rebellious to seek power, or they are just not interested in it. Star people are not interested in power in the usual sense, although they are interested in spiritual power. We too are interested in their spiritual power and make use of it. Many star people have power in third density because of their special gifts and understanding. They have a powerful influence over people's lives. This kind of influence is important to us because the revolution of consciousness takes place within individuals on a grassroots level. This revolution of consciousness is a movement that is building and will be responsible for much change in the future. We seek to shape this movement by influencing those leading the way. These individuals may never be leaders in the world, but they will influence the kind of leaders that will be chosen in the future. We also work with world leaders and others in important positions throughout the world in the same way we work with others, through their unconscious minds, through their dreams, and through others in their lives. We can create circumstances and incidents that bring about certain realizations. We seek to change their way of thinking by arranging events in their lives in ways that teach them and bring them into alignment with a certain perspective. You may be interested to know more about how we do this. You may think that events are random, but there are no accidents. Events happen either as a result of free will or because they are part of the soul's plan. We and other higher-level beings are instrumental in carrying out the soul's plans of those in third density. But even when events are orchestrated, do not think you are puppets. You choose your responses to events. Nevertheless, most events are simply natural results of your choices. We are not the only ones orchestrating events from these levels. Negative extraterrestrials do so as well. While we influence you in ways that will help you fulfill your soul's plan, the negatives work to serve themselves. Let's look at how they operate. Most events are determined by free will. The free will of most human beings is just that, very free. It is easily influenced. Most people do not have their will and awareness developed to a point where they are not easily swayed or manipulated. It takes someone with a strong awareness and sense of self to hold to a certain course. Most people are not that clear about what they want. They often take the path of least resistance, which usually means following the dictates of their unconscious mind or other people's suggestions. They are influenced not only by old patterns stored in the unconscious mind, which cause them to repeat what they've done in the past, but by suggestions implanted in the unconscious mind. Hypnosis is one way of programming the unconscious mind, as you have discovered. But what you may not realize is that non-physical beings are actively programming people's unconscious minds. Some of these less evolved non-physical beings are programming or influencing human beings through the unconscious mind in ways that are not at all helpful. For example, discarnates who have not found their way to the light may stay attached to a living human being for one reason or another and influence him or her by their presence. Some of these beings are well-intentioned, and some are not. Some actively try to cause trouble, and some do not. A discarnate who is addicted to alcohol, for instance, is likely to be trying to influence someone to drink. On the other hand, discarnates who die of illness and are lonely for a loved one may be just trying to stay near, without realizing that they are imposing their own previous health problems on the loved one through proximity. Another level of influence are those devoted to service to self, whose purpose is to create pain, fear, self-doubt, conflict, and illness. They study someone's weaknesses and move in when they perceive an opening. The way to protect yourself from their influence is to work on eliminating your weaknesses and to maintain high-minded thoughts and positive feelings. No one is able to do this consistently, however, so even the most evolved of you can fall prey to these negative forces. Negative forces can aggravate any negativity you feel and make it difficult for you to shake it off. Once negative entities have moved in, it takes diligence to keep from wallowing in negativity, whether it be jealousy, hatred, guilt, remorse, self-pity, anger, or sadness. When you find yourself trapped in these states, realize that it may be due to outside influences. Then, call on help from positive forces. Remember, you must ask for help, for unlike the negative forces, we do not infringe on free will by interfering where we are not wanted. You see, many of you cherish your negative states. They may be comforting in their familiarity, or they may give you just the excuse you seek to do nothing, to avoid taking responsibility for your life. We need to know you are willing to feel good again before we will help. When you do ask for our assistance, most of you will be able to feel it immediately, both energetically and in a shift in your mood. You may still have to work at not sliding back into those states, but we can also help with that. Some of you who have persistent negative thoughts might be plagued by a negative entity who has attached itself more permanently. In these cases, a clearing is necessary. This is done by many healers these days and is easier than you might imagine. Whatever it was within you that allowed this attachment must be healed, however, or another entity may replace the old one. That is why it is useful to have a healer help you with this. Alternatively, you can clear negative entities yourself by speaking to them with great intent and telling them they are no longer welcome and must move on into the light, where they belong. Much of the negativity in the world can be traced to this type of negative influence. Christians refer to it as Satan and his legions. Yes, there are devilish forces out there trying to undermine you and all that is good. There is a battle for your soul going on. But this is nothing new. It has always been this way on Earth. Your challenge is to recognize that this is happening and to use your will more consciously. Most people are tossed to and fro by one influence and then another because they are unaware of their thoughts and feelings. But this doesn't have to be. You are reaching a state in your evolution where you are becoming more conscious and need not be at the mercy of unconscious forces, but you must choose consciousness. Positive forces also work with your unconscious mind. You are free to choose whether to be influenced by these forces or by the negative. The negative voice from the unconscious mind is louder at times, such as when you are filled with self-generated negativity. Feeling anger, for instance, sets up a resonance between that emotion and any negative energy in the unconscious mind, which amplifies the negativity. The negative voice becomes a choir of negativity, drowning out the positive voice of peace, love, reason, hope, and faith. On the other hand, when you resonate to the positive, the voice heard from your unconscious mind can become like a choir of angels, inspiring you to love, joy, and exultation. Both voices vie to be heard. It is up to you to choose which you will listen to, and then turn up the volume. There is never a shortage of positive guidance entering your world. It may seem like you are being intimidated by the negative, but that is only because people choose to follow the negative and amplify it. They do this because they are wounded, and their wounds fill them with pain, hatred, anger, jealousy, and sorrow. Therefore, they resonate to the negative. They are wounded from events in this life as well as in previous lives, but they are also wounded and trapped in their wounds by false beliefs and misunderstandings about life. They live in self-hatred and lack of acceptance of themselves and their mistakes. They believe themselves to be flawed, imperfect, bad, and doomed to unhappiness. They do not realize who they really are, God clothed in flesh, experimenting with a human body and feelings. They do not appreciate that their mistakes and struggles gain them strength and wisdom. Being human is difficult, even for those who are very evolved, such as star people, who feel frustrated with being human, because on some level, they know they are not human. Being human is difficult even under the best of circumstances, and heaven knows very few are experiencing ideal lives. Many people believe they should be happy all the time, however, and this expectation is responsible for much pain. We are not suggesting that you not expect to be happy. Better that than expecting to be unhappy. But expecting to feel happy all the time is not realistic. Happiness, as you usually think of it, is a state that is attained when the ego has gotten what it wants, and it lasts until the ego decides it wants something else it doesn't have. Therefore, this kind of happiness is always transitory. It can be no other way. Joy, on the other hand, comes from experiencing your being, which is not dependent on circumstances. Joy is attainable and attained eventually by all as a result of evolution. Joy is the goal, not happiness. As long as you focus on happiness as a goal, you will be disappointed. You are not here to be happy. You are here to learn, to grow, to evolve, to love, to serve, and to experience the joy of your being. Life was never meant to be easy. Reclaiming your spiritual self is not easy, and you are not to blame for that. Earth is a school. With every choice you make, you learn. That is all that is required of you. Learning, not perfection. Being able to accept your mistakes and the mistakes of others will help you heal your wounds. What you believe about life and about yourself makes a big difference in how easily you can overcome the tribulations of life and the wounds. No one escapes being wounded. It is impossible. The lesson is in making the best of those wounds and learning to overcome them so that they don't block your progress. And sharing with others how you overcome your wounds can be a great benefit to others. Life sets troubles in your path to test you and make you stronger. You can use your difficulties for that, or you can wallow in anger, hatred, self-pity, and pain. Always, it is your choice. Since these feelings are so painful, people eventually develop the skills for moving through their difficulties. Nevertheless, these states can be enticing. What payoffs do anger, hatred, self-pity, and sadness have for you? Do you get to be self-righteous? Do you get to blame someone else? Do you get to have an excuse for not doing something? Do you get attention from others? Becoming conscious means being aware of not only your feelings, but the choices you make in regard to them. How are you using your feelings? When you ask us, we will help you by working with your emotional bodies. We have the means to speed up healing on all levels, but you must ask for it. Many of you are able to feel us at work on an energetic level, such as during your meditation or when you are very still. But much of this work happens while you are asleep, because that is when you are the most receptive. Your conscious mind is out of the way, and the unconscious mind can, therefore, be more effectively programmed. If you remain in a negative state and don't ask for help, you are more vulnerable to negative forces, and they too can affect you when you sleep. In a sense, because of resonance, your negative state gives them permission to interfere with you. You draw them to you by resonating at their level. The longer you stay in a state of negativity, the more vulnerable you are to negative forces. However, they can only make so much headway in the consciousness of someone who works to get and stay clear emotionally, such as someone who meditates daily. You might think then that the negative forces focus on those who are negatively oriented. Well, they do, but they are even more interested in those working for the light. Negative entities watch and wait for opportunities to affect those working for the light. That is why it is important for those of you who are working in service to the planet to guard your thoughts and work with your emotions. One of the traps is becoming lax about this. Most of the time you feel aligned with the light, so you let down your guard, only to find yourself deeply depressed or discouraged. These feelings indicate that service to self is at work, undermining you. When you find yourself depressed or discouraged, ask for help. It is also useful to take a moment to examine your thinking. Note the beliefs that are behind your discouragement, then dismiss them one by one. You will find the beliefs that lie behind discouragement to be false. Here are some examples of the types of phrases that negative forces plant, so watch out for them. Nothing I do ever matters. What's the use? I will never succeed. I'm not getting anywhere. Nothing ever goes right. Everything is going wrong. Nobody cares. Nobody appreciates me. Nobody loves me. Notice what these statements have in common. They are sweeping generalizations. Let the words never, nothing, everything, and nobody be red flags indicating insidious lies that feed in negative feelings and undermine positive action. This is just what the negative forces hope to do. But you can take charge simply by monitoring your thoughts and casting out the ones that don't belong to you. Your brain is a computer that is being used not only by you, but by many others, both in bodies and not in bodies. Many of you have learned to identify and correct the negative conditioning you received by your parents and others while growing up. Be as diligent about the programming you are now receiving by negative forces in your environment and in unseen realms. Knowledge is power. Awareness is your best defense. And again, we await your call for assistance. Our main means of contact with you now is during sleep, where we are preparing you for a more conscious meeting in the future and healing you to help you realize your divine nature and your mission. We are also showing ourselves to you, giving you tours of our vehicles and home planets, and telling you about ourselves while you sleep. Then, when you hear and see these same things in your waking life, you will not be so surprised. There will be a certain familiarity about us, and what we tell you will seem to make sense. Some of you even remember some of these encounters. However, in most cases, it is not our intent to have you remember them. We are intentionally working with your unconscious minds first. We do have plans to contact you physically in the near future. We don't know when this will be because many factors are involved, mostly to do with your readiness, but also with the actions of the negative extraterrestrials. The sooner you are ready, the sooner we will present ourselves. The actions of the negatives could cause us to meet before you are ready. That would be unfortunate. The result would be more chaos than we would want to create, but this would only happen if the negatives were creating even more chaos. We hope you can appreciate why we can't be more specific about how or when we will introduce ourselves to you publicly. We do want you to understand that we work cautiously behind the scenes for the most part, and that we will intervene only if necessary. We respect your right to make the choices you are making on Earth, inasmuch as they do not affect the welfare of the planet. But we are also here because your choices could have an impact on the well-being of those on other planets. So, we will intervene to curtail any choices that might damage this planet or any other. In this sense, we are like good parents who allow their children freedom until they endanger themselves or others. We want you to understand our role on Earth and our deepest respect for your sovereignty. The only other instance we will intervene is when you ask us to. Those of you who know of us can ask us to intervene on your behalf simply by making that statement. We can hear your requests and will fulfill them according to the highest good of all. Understand that the negatives will answer requests too, but they will not do you the same honor of respecting your welfare and that of others in fulfilling them. Ensuring that your requests are met by us and not by the negatives is simple. Address us specifically, either by name or more generally by referring to those who work in the light. If you like, you can call on the Ascended Masters, angels, or other divine beings by name to answer your requests. Just as you would not mail a letter without a name and address, be sure to address your requests as a safeguard. If your motives are pure, your requests are automatically handled by those working in the light. It's when you make a request out of anger, revenge, hatred, or the like that the negative forces may come forth to do your bidding. When a request is made of us, we will see if fulfilling it suits your soul's plan and the plans of anyone else it might affect. Many people request contact with us, but few would find it anything but disruptive to their lives. It's not to anyone's benefit to have lives disrupted this way. That is why we have been so careful about appearing to you and erasing memories when we can. Many of you believe you could handle contact with us, but you would find it more upsetting than you realize. We know this, and contact very few people in third density. Even our fourth density contacts are difficult when remembered. It will be a while before we make contact with you in great numbers in third density. As a precursor, we will contact more individuals in third density and use them to help prepare others for our presence. This is already happening, but will happen much more frequently in the coming years. Then, early in the 21st century, the general public will come to know us. It will not be long now. The sightings have been stepped up and will continue to increase until a majority of people accept the reality of extraterrestrial life, for at this stage, it is still just a concept. More pictures and videos will be published to serve as proof. Crop circles, which we create, will proliferate and increase in complexity, bringing more of those with a scientific bent into the fold. As evidence builds, the media will contribute with more stories, movies, and docudramas on the subject to further prepare the way. Another important step will be the release of the US government's classified information on this subject. Once this happens, it won't be long before you see us. Chapter 7: Life with ETs. Building a new world together. You will not be alone in the future. You never really have been. You will soon discover that you are part of a galactic federation. Many of those you will meet have been working with you all along without your being aware of it. Now, the time has come for you to become aware of our presence and to co-create this universe with us. This is always a momentous time in the evolution of a planet, when those inhabiting it first realize they have relations in other parts of the galaxy. You not only have relations, but they have known you and have been involved with you since your inception. You are not orphaned children of the Creator. You just haven't known your creators until now. You are God-created, of course, just as we are. But your creation came about because certain beings chose to create your particular form using genetic engineering. The story has been told elsewhere, so we won't repeat it. Now, you have reached adulthood and are ready to vote. First, you will learn about the cosmic government and who's in it. That is part of what we will teach you. Our primary mission is to prepare you for what lies ahead. We will co-create your world with you and teach you to be co-creators of other worlds. Soon, we will begin to work closely with you, as closely as you will allow, to build a new world. We have been observing what you have created on this world. We have seen where your choices have led and are ready to step in with advice and guidance about how to improve what you have already created. We will also offer a vision of the future that will help you bring forth creations of which you have yet to dream. Many of your problems have been caused by short-sightedness and ignorance of who you are, of your future. Once you realize your immensity and your latent powers, you will begin to make wiser choices about how you spend your energy. When you realize what power you have to create a positive reality, you will stop putting your energy into creating a negative reality. So much of your suffering is caused by simply being unconscious. You are becoming conscious now, conscious creators of your reality, and we are here to help guide you in creating the world of your dreams. Please note that we said the world of your dreams, not our dreams. That is the difference between those who serve you and those who serve themselves. The world we wish to help you create will come from you, your desires and your goals. We will simply help you manifest them. We have no intention of imposing our perceptions and goals on you, but like a good parent, we will lead you to what we believe is in your best interest, while respecting your right to choose not to follow our suggestions. When we say we will build a world with you, we mean that we will work with you cooperatively, respectfully, and patiently, according to your needs and desires. Is there any question that a new world must be built? It must be apparent that change is imperative. You cannot continue on your current course. Usually, a world follows a course until it can go no farther, until it collapses. It doesn't necessarily have the wisdom to stop in midstream and change course. Many among you are wise enough to know that change is necessary now. With your cooperation, we will show you how to adjust your course before it's too late. You are headed toward ecological disaster. If you let us, we will help you avert that. We will convince you that you need to change your actions. Then we will help you correct your mistakes and find new ways to accomplish what you need to be comfortable. Many of you are afraid to look at your world's problems. You have enough of your own, it seems. But if you keep hiding your heads in the sand, you will pursue your current path until you can go no further. We hope to wake you up to the urgency of your situation so that you can begin to move forward on a less destructive path. Nothing short of a shock may suffice, since for most of you, the drive to continue as you are doing is so great. The shock of having extraterrestrials enter your world may be just what is needed to wake you from your lethargy. So, although we are waiting to introduce ourselves until it's not too much of a shock, we will not wait so long that it becomes too late. Life with ETs. What will your world be like with extraterrestrials living among you? How will that affect your societies, how you think, and what you believe? Because of our advanced intelligence, our broader perspective, and our lack of conditioning to your world, we will bring change to every aspect of society. Contact with us will shake many of your beliefs, release you from much of your conditioning, and change many of your culturally determined values, including how you spend your time and how you see yourselves and life. As we present you with new possibilities, you will also change how you do things. Sometime early in the 21st century, we will live and work among you. We can and will be integrated into your societies, just like other cultural groups have in the past. We may not necessarily own homes or settle here, however, since few of us are adapted to your environment. The first extraterrestrials involved in your world will live in spaceships and commute to your world to perform their tasks, although some may set up communities on Earth in special environments that allow them to be here full-time. They will keep to themselves at first, while you acclimate yourselves to them, coming into contact with you only when necessary to perform their work. At first, only a few will work among you, but in time, more will come. Integrating ETs into your world will take time and require care and sensitivity regarding our impact on your world. The challenges of integrating ETs into your world. Integrating us into your society presents some unique challenges that other cultural groups have not faced. Language, however, will not be one of these challenges. We can readily learn any of your languages, and we also have the technology to help us communicate with you. We communicate primarily through telepathy and can induce telepathy in you. We also have the technology for translating one language to another. Many of us have studied your languages and will make an effort to communicate with you in the normal way so that you will feel more comfortable with us. One of the biggest challenges will be the difference in our level of intelligence. It will not be as difficult for us to adapt to your more limited intelligence as it will be for you to understand us and appreciate our point of view. For instance, it will be difficult for you to evaluate some of our proposals and suggestions because they are so much more advanced than anything you can come up with yourselves. This will cause problems among the intelligentsia, who are bound to feel threatened by this influx of new intelligence into your world. They will have to learn to cooperate with and often take subordinate positions to us because of our greater knowledge and expertise. On the other hand, not all the extraterrestrials you will meet will be skilled at adapting to your level of understanding. Some will not be able to put themselves in your shoes and see things as you do. Therefore, their advice may not be valid, or it may not be understood by you. When misunderstandings occur, they will not always be your fault, but may occur because the extraterrestrial dealing with you lacks understanding of you or the skill to communicate at your level. Thus, intelligence alone is not enough to ensure good communication. An understanding of your cultures and what it is to be a human on Earth at this point in history is essential in dealing with you effectively. In addition, of course, there must be the drive to serve your best interest, and not all extraterrestrials are so motivated. Another challenge will be adapting us into your work world. We will not always fit into your current structures because to us, these structures are antiquated and highly inefficient. They will have to change. Your work is already becoming increasingly automated through technology and computers. This trend will continue as you find more ways to accomplish tasks without leaving the comfort of your homes. We will help you create new lifestyles around work by helping you develop your communications technology further so that centralized workplaces will be replaced by more conveniently located workspaces. This will change the pattern and routine of your daily lives and free many of you from your 9-to-5 schedules. Your lifestyles will change as you not only experience more freedom around your work activities, but more free time and easier access to mentally stimulating and educational activities. As it stands, your free time is often consumed by mindless entertainment, which wastes human resources. You will be both entertained and enlightened in the future through the wise use of technology. Education, knowledge, and expertise will be high priorities in the world of the future, in part because the level of intelligence of the extraterrestrials living among you will demand more from you intellectually. It is not so much that you will be competing with us for jobs, but that the technology we introduce to your world will demand a high level of education in order to use it. Even the average person will need what you now consider exceptional skills just to keep pace with the growth and changes occurring in society. It will be difficult for those who can't keep pace intellectually, but because technology will bring more prosperity to society in general, society will be better able to assist or carry those who are least able to manage. The technology will help these individuals fulfill as much of their intellectual potential as possible. Also, because society will be less stressed and run more smoothly, there will be more time for spiritual development and greater understanding and compassion for those with lesser abilities. Another challenge facing your world concerns the sharing of what we have to offer. You will have to learn to share the information we bring if you are not to fall into conflicts over the rights to our ideas and our help. We are very aware of your potential to cause disputes among you and will try not to play favorites. We will work fairly with all people and foster cooperation between nations, not competition. We will work hard to bring your world together under one organization and government because this is the next step in your evolution and necessary for peace. Many of our suggestions will need to be implemented worldwide and will, therefore, require a certain restructuring of your political and social boundaries. The impact of ETs on your world. Of course, the presence of extraterrestrials in your world will have a profound impact on your religions and belief systems. Our presence will cause you to question many of your cherished beliefs and ideas, including what you believe about human history. Your beliefs about your world and your history affect the kind of world you create. When you change your beliefs about the world changes. After all, your attitudes, beliefs, and thoughts are what create your reality. The new information we will bring will revolutionize many areas of study, such as geology, biology, archaeology, cosmology, history, medicine, and mathematics. Opening your minds will trigger a major leap in consciousness and knowledge, since certain regressive ideas have thwarted your progress and limited your understanding. Once these ideas fall away, you will move ahead very rapidly. Extraterrestrials will advance your knowledge in these fields by hundreds of years in just a decade. As a result of the medical advances we will bring, how long you live and how you pattern your lives will change. People will live longer and stay productive longer. There will be fewer debilitating illnesses and a healthier population as a whole. Consequently, there will be more free time, less difficulty in providing for yourselves, and a healthier lifestyle. On the other hand, there will be a greater need for advanced education and specialized training, and therefore, a much longer period of schooling before entering the workforce. People will remain in the workforce longer, but job sharing will replace the full-time work that is now the norm. Therefore, even though the number of available workers will increase, unemployment won't. These changes, in turn, will reflect a change of philosophy. When people have more time to devote to themselves, interest in life-enhancing subjects will increase. People will explore new pastimes, as well as more serious concerns, such as the meaning of life. The struggle for survival and the emphasis on materialism so prevalent now in your culture will be superseded by more meaningful goals, such as personal growth and the attainment of peace and contentment. When you are able to meet your material needs more easily, you will not look so much to work and consumerism to satisfy you, which has never worked anyway. Thus, there will be an expansion of consciousness, resulting in greater happiness. Going to war with each other will become a thing of the past. The world of the future. You are headed toward a golden age. It may come as soon as the 21st century, or shortly after that. Meanwhile, you have a mess to clean up here on Earth before you are solidly on course toward a better world. You will suffer some from the consequences of your past choices that have damaged your environment, which will take time to correct. We will help you if you are willing to implement the changes we suggest. However, some of these changes are radical and will challenge some of you. The biggest change, besides altering your personal habits around how you use your natural resources, involves establishing a worldwide agency for regulating and monitoring environmental issues. This will help bring you together as a world, although the logistics of doing this are challenging. Any global initiative such as this requires an infrastructure that is yet to be conceived, although a breakdown of national boundaries is necessary anyway for the equitable distribution of goods, a key to establishing peace on Earth. Global peace is foremost on our agenda, and we will try to convince you of the importance of the redistribution of wealth to peace. Not only will you find that peace will be a worthy goal, but many of the benefits we bestow upon you will be contingent on your willingness to strive for peace. The world of the future will be very different. One of the biggest changes will be that the population of Earth will be much less than it is now. Natural disasters, widespread diseases, and increasing sterility will dramatically decrease your population in the not-so-distant future. This, however, will make it easier for you to deal with the environmental problems and provide a healthy lifestyle for those who are here. Unfortunately, it often takes problems like this to advance a race spiritually. Your world will have gone through other changes that will help you be more at ease with us. For example, you will have made some breakthroughs in science that will help explain the paranormal. You are on the verge of a paradigm shift in physics right now that will open up your worldview and your understanding of other dimensions and their inhabitants. You as a society will finally accept that sentient life exists in other dimensions and that these dimensions are just as real as yours. This will lead to an eagerness to learn from those in these other dimensions. This will be a very important shift because, as it stands, science's skepticism not only inhibits belief in extraterrestrials, but also makes it necessary for us to stay behind the scenes. We await a shift in your belief system and are pushing for this by showing our craft to you. We know that moving too quickly will only cause problems in relating to us. A number of star people working in the area of physics are striving to make the necessary breakthroughs for this next step. Through star people, we are already having a far greater impact on the transformation of your beliefs than you may realize. Some of the things that will happen in your world in the coming years will scare you and cause you to be more open to new ideas, new beliefs, and new solutions. Many of these will be supplied by star people and other advanced individuals who have incarnated to help Earth solve her problems. Crises create an openness. which often results in leaps of consciousness and the transformation of structures that cannot be accomplished any other way, or at least not as rapidly. This will be the reason for many of the crises you will experience in the coming years. They will challenge you and therefore strengthen you spiritually, emotionally, and intellectually. The universe has a beautiful way of providing for one's needs by delivering challenges. As participants in Earth's plan for transformation, we can offer some of the help you need to advance spiritually and intellectually. Not all the extraterrestrials you will become involved with will serve you well, however. You need to be aware that there are many races with a variety of motives, some of them self-serving. One of your lessons will be discerning who to trust and who not to. Meanwhile, you will probably make many mistakes and learn from them, but that too is part of the plan. This is one of the ways you will advance spiritually and become wiser and more aware of the importance of adhering to certain values. The unscrupulousness of some extraterrestrials will result in debates about what is right and wrong, moral and immoral. In the future, having people in power who have integrity will be especially important, since the potential for destruction and the abuse of power will increase as a result of your intellectual and technological advancement. You will also experience improvements in health as a result of our presence among you. Your world will be much healthier, not only because the environment will be cleaner, but because you will develop technology to overcome many of your illnesses and diseases. You will also have a better understanding of the basis of good health. Many of the advances will be accomplished through genetic engineering as we teach you how to unplug, so to speak, the genes in human DNA responsible for unwanted health conditions. This will eliminate much suffering on Earth. We have other technology to share that will ease suffering and improve lives. Advances in transportation, for instance, will make it possible to not only travel swiftly and safely anywhere around the globe, but also among the stars. These adventures in space travel are probably more than a century away, but that is still a very short time to go from cars and planes to interdimensional travel. Even though we can already do this, you will have to develop the technology on your own to some extent. For us to just give you this technology would be too much of an interference. Moving too quickly into space would be too shocking for humanity. It would also deny you the opportunity for the intellectual development that learning to travel through space affords. Therefore, you will be given only the help that will benefit you. We are very aware of our potentially enormous impact on you. We will be careful how we interact with you and with the technology and help that we give you. Some of us have made mistakes before with other races, some even with your race, and have learned from these mistakes. Although they operate under a certain ethical code, self-serving extraterrestrials will not be so careful, not because they are less wise, but because they hope to throw you off course. They hope to cause problems on Earth because creating chaos is how they gain control. Self-servers have always been part of your universe. There are even whole planets inhabited primarily by self-servers. Whenever they have the capability of traveling through space, they try to disrupt and conquer other civilizations. Sometimes they are successful, and sometimes not. Much depends on the orientation and development of the targeted civilization. The less evolved and more oriented to self-service a civilization is, the easier it is to conquer. That is why we are not greatly concerned about the fate of Earth. As unevolved and self-serving as humanity may seem to you at times, you are far better off than many other races. Because self-servers are a relatively small percentage of your population, and because many highly evolved individuals are here to help raise the mass consciousness, the best the negative extraterrestrials are likely to accomplish is to create some chaos, fear, and trouble, although they hope to do more than that. You are moving into a very special time, one of great change and innovation. Many of society's structures will have to adapt or change entirely to fit the future level of consciousness of Earth's inhabitants. Some of those who are already here have managed to raise their consciousness through effort and grace. Others will reincarnate here because the level of consciousness suits them and their growth. There will be a range of consciousness on Earth. Not everyone will be at the same level, but the range will be narrower than it is now, and the average level of consciousness higher. That is good news not only for the people of Earth, but also for Earth itself, for it will need careful stewardship in the future to recover from past sins. It may seem like you will never solve your current problems, but many of them are simply growing pains more than anything else, signals for the need to change. Once certain changes are made, these problems will be resolved. Of course, there will be new and different challenges, but you will have more resources to deal with them than you do now. Challenges still exist in more evolved states, but the pain associated with dealing with them is much less. Growth continues, but through less pain and with greater swiftness. A higher level of consciousness brings with it an ability to master thoughts and emotions, which are behind the creation of your reality. The more evolved you are, the better creators you are, and the more you are able to change what you don't like or what doesn't work. You are going to make giant strides in understanding how the brain, mind, and consciousness work. Because you will realize that all else comes from this will be the new frontier. Solutions to your problems lie in understanding the mind and consciousness. Mastery of the mind and the effect of the mind and emotions on the electrical, chemical, and hormonal activity of the brain will be crucial areas of study in the near future. You have already begun these studies, but so much more will be uncovered. We are well equipped to help you with this. Many abilities that you now consider psychic will unfold as you master your minds and enlarge your brain capacities. Although many of us have brains unlike yours, some of us have brains that function as yours will in the future, so we can help your scientists unlock those secrets. You will begin to understand the nature of reality from the standpoint of dimensions where time and space do not exist. For this, your current science is useless. A new science will evolve to account for other dimensions, and you will realize your multidimensionality. Of course, this will have enormous spiritual repercussions. However, science will transform religious and spiritual views rather than replace them, as it has in the past. Your whole concept of reality will soon change as a result of meeting us, since we already live in and travel between other dimensions. Our knowledge is your future science. You have so much to learn from us. We have much to gain from you too, primarily in service to you. We are here to serve you. Some of us are here to make amends to you for past mistakes, and others to make amends for mistakes made elsewhere. We need you as much as you need us. We are as motivated to help you as you will be to learn from us. You will learn from both the positive and negative extraterrestrials, although what you learn from each will be very different. The negatives will teach you discrimination and the value of honesty and integrity by demonstrating the opposite. They will show you what happens when a race falls out of alignment with spirit, and they will play out the negative for you so that you can integrate your own shadow side. They are performing an important function in your world by bringing you certain lessons. For this, you can be grateful, just as you are grateful for other challenges in your lives that provide fuel for your evolution. Change accelerates evolution. The introduction of extraterrestrials into your world will accelerate your evolution exponentially, but you will have to be willing to see things differently. Flexibility and adaptability will be essential as you adapt your beliefs and what you know about the world to accommodate a much broader reality. Life as you know it will no longer exist, not only because the structures of your lives will change, but because the structures of your brains, your beliefs, and your very perceptions will change. You will change so fundamentally inside that your outer reality cannot help but change dramatically. You will not be in Kansas anymore. This is how the new world, the Golden Age, will come about. It will happen as a result of deep changes in your brains, in how you think, in what you believe, and in how you perceive. Reality, after all, has always reflected consciousness. Therefore, it should be no surprise that the greatest leap in consciousness that humanity has ever taken will result in a new world, one that will not only look different, but serve your evolution differently. This new world will suit a certain level of consciousness and serve certain evolutionary lessons. Those still learning the lessons of the old Earth will not be doing it on Earth anymore. They will complete these lessons elsewhere. As Earth moves into a new consciousness, a new dimension. It will serve the Creator in a new way. Chapter 8. What you can do to help. It must be obvious by now that you are very important to our plan, which is to say that you are very important to Earth's plan. We need you to carry out tasks in third density that we cannot, and we need your permission to help you. We cannot help you unless you want our help and ask for it. This is your world. We are just here to help you move it into the next dimension. We are your guides, but you are the creators of your reality. At best, we can be co-creators with you. In this chapter, we would like to offer some practical suggestions about what you can do to help bring your planet and yourselves into fourth density. What you can do to help yourself. Each of you is important. Each of you is unique. No one else is exactly like you, not only on this planet, but anywhere in creation. What you have to contribute, no one else can contribute. And each of you has something to contribute, even those apparently without valuable skills. You are so much more than you realize. Each of you has a potential to bring light to this planet in a number of ways, not just with your talents. You don't have to be talented or educated to be a light worker or to serve. Some of your life purposes require specialized skills or psychic abilities or other talents developed in previous lifetimes on other planets and in other dimensions. But please appreciate that Spirit can and will use even the humblest and least developed of you if you are willing. You do not have to be evolved, intelligent, charismatic, beautiful, talented, a star person, or have any other quality except a willingness to serve. Of course, that usually does entail a certain level of evolution. The most important thing you can do to help is to offer yourself in service to the planet in any way Spirit sees fit to use you. Do not put strings on it, such as, "I'll be of service as long as it pays my bills," and do not judge the form this service may take. The ego is so quick to compare and judge. No one kind of service is more valuable than another. Some forms are certainly more prestigious, but these judgments are those of the egos, not Spirit's. Whatever service is needed, and therefore valuable. What's more, you depend on each other's services to fulfill your own. For example, a teacher cannot teach if someone doesn't print the books. So who's to say a teacher is more important than a printer or a machinist who makes the printing presses? You do not have to be a psychic, a workshop leader, or a healer to be significant to Earth's transformation. Besides, what you do is only part of the picture of your service to Earth. How you serve is equally important. Do you spread love with words and actions throughout your day? Love is the stuff that planetary transformation is made of. Living in loving kindness is the most important thing you can do for Earth and for humanity now. This is something anyone can do. You don't need a degree to love, and it doesn't cost you anything. In fact, it pays very well. There are no excuses not to love. Living in love is a choice you make every second of your life. You are continually choosing love or separation. What is it that stands in the way of your choosing love? The answer to this question is different for every person. What you can do to help is to love and heal all those parts of yourself that prevent you from loving continually. Of course, this is a tall order, but you don't have to do it perfectly. Just do the best you can to keep choosing love until it becomes a way of life. You will eventually become very good at it. Because loving is its own reward, it becomes easier and easier each time you choose it. You may need some help at first to heal whatever stands in the way of making that choice, but that is what healers are for. Plenty of help is available to help you heal the wounds that keep you from having an open heart. What is being asked of individuals and humanity as a whole now is to open the heart. The raising of consciousness occurring on your planet is not an intellectual process, although your brain capacity and usage are expanding, but a deep emotional clearing, which will result in greater love and compassion. What you can do for yourself to improve your ability to serve is to heal your heart. When you do this to help yourself, you will be helping everyone else. Those who will be living on earth in the future will have open hearts. This will change the form that your lives will take, along with every structure you have on earth. When people begin to operate from their hearts, you will live in a very different world. When we talk about moving into fourth density, we are talking about living in a world where love prevails instead of fear, hatred, and anger. But in order to have a world like this, you each must do the clearing necessary to allow for the opening of your heart. Healing is in order now. It is the most important thing you can do for yourself and for the planet. There is no getting around it, and no one can do it for you. However, we don't want to leave you with the impression that you don't have help with this. Spiritual forces are working with each of you daily to help you clear your emotional bodies in preparation for a new world. Your part is to open to these forces, invoke them consciously, and ask them to help you become a clearer instrument for service. For some of you, this will require dropping whatever false beliefs interfere with taking this step. What stands in the way of you making this request for healing from Spirit? Are you having a hard time setting aside time for meditation and prayer? Do you feel you aren't worthy to be an instrument, to receive the help and love that is yours for the asking? Do you feel silly? Perhaps you don't believe such forces exist or can help. Or perhaps you don't feel you need healing. That is the arrogance of the ego. The ego will try to interfere with this process. The challenge is to overcome the ego's ploys, such as telling you that you don't need any healing, that you're okay. Observe all the other ways the ego may try to keep you from making a commitment to your own healing or to meditation. Your ego is there for your survival. It is a primitive aspect of yourself that uses fear to try to protect you, but it has a narrow view of safety, and therefore feels threatened by change or anything that doesn't immediately relate to survival. Although their motives differ, negative forces use the same ploys the ego uses. They both use fear to keep you from moving forward. Another trick the ego may use is to tell you that something so simple as asking can't possibly work. Why bother? It can't possibly work. It can't be that simple. Besides, you have more important things to do, like earning a living. Is it so inconceivable that you should receive exactly what you need just by asking for it? You see, life doesn't have to be as difficult as it is for many of you. You don't have to go it alone. We are just waiting to help out, but you have to show us you want help. Some of you enjoy your pain too much, and we can't help you until you really want out of it. That might sound odd, but it is true. Many of you get something out of your pain which you are unwilling to give up. And others don't ask for help because they feel they deserve their pain and are unworthy of something better. All you have to do is ask. It's so simple, yet so hard for some. It only takes a moment to ask. The more heartfelt the statement, the more help you call forth. So, asking is important. But did you realize that by increasing your intent, your desire for help, you increase the response? How much of your will do you put behind your request? Just a little, or your entire being? That tells us just how much you mean business, and therefore, how much we should help. We will help as much or as little as you ask us to. It is up to you. Notice what may be keeping you from putting your full intent behind a request for help. Don't just notice what keeps you from asking in the first place, but what keeps you from asking wholeheartedly. You will come up with some different answers to this second question. Do you really want healing with your whole being? Do you really want a relationship with your whole being? Do you really want to discover your life's work with your whole being? What parts of yourself don't want those things? Those are the parts that keep you from asking fully and receiving fully. What you can do to help the planet. Whatever you do for the planet, you will be doing for yourself, of course. You and the planet are inseparable and interdependent. That means that not only do you need the planet, but the planet needs you. That may sound strange. Why does the planet need human beings? The higher life forms on the planet are just as much a part of her as the so-called lower life forms, the minerals and plants. You are simply a higher expression of the planet's energy. You are the planet. If the planet fails to sustain you, she has failed to sustain herself, and she feels this loss. The planet is working very hard to sustain the growing human population, but you must also help by realizing the strain you put on her and reduce it. She can only accommodate so many of you. Her capabilities are not infinite. To you they seem unlimited, but you are testing her to the limits now. What you can do to help the planet is to cut back on pollutants, replant the trees you take, clean up the oceans and other toxic sites, and stop producing nuclear and other toxic waste. The toxins you produce throw off the balance of Earth, making it harder for her to support you. The fish are dying. What will you do if the oceans die? The answer is that you would be dead long before the oceans reach that point. You can't wait until that point to do something about it. There are already many organizations in place that serve the planet, so one obvious way you can help is to support these organizations. Less obviously, you can pray for Earth. Just as asking for healing for yourself invites help from other dimensions, so does asking for healing for Earth. You use your free will to damage Earth, so why not use it to correct these problems through prayer and other positive actions? Again, unless you ask for our help in this manner, we can only intervene to a certain point. We are limited in what we are allowed to do without your permission. We can only go so far. Much of what we are doing now is research and observation so that we are better prepared to intervene once your governments ask us. What you can do to help us. Many of you are already helping us with all our various projects without knowing it. However, there is always a need for more help, so if you haven't already signed up, then please do so, simply by stating to us in your meditation that you would like to be of assistance to all those working in the light, specifically those working to serve whatever cause you wish to name. It is as simple as that. Then, if your request fits your talents and your soul's direction and plan for this lifetime, it will be done. Chances are, however, you are already in service in exactly the capacity you would like to be. You are far more intuitive than you think. What you love to do, you are already doing in other dimensions. Your joy and enthusiasm are signs that you are already doing this elsewhere, or at the very least, preparing for this. In this dimension, you feel limited. You judge yourself as not smart enough, not strong enough, not talented enough, fill in the blank, to do what you want to do. Those of you who are more practical limit yourselves by telling yourselves that what you want to do won't pay the bills. In other dimensions, you do not limit yourself in any of these ways. You simply do what brings you joy. That is what you must do in this dimension as well. Don't let anything limit you. The secret to being happy in this dimension, or any other, is to do what brings you joy. How much less pain there would be in your world if everyone followed their bliss? What keeps you from following your bliss? Examine this carefully, because the answer is what the negative forces use to inhibit you from fulfilling your mission. If the answer is that you're afraid of being poor, the negatives will tell you that you won't be able to survive if you do what you love. They may even inspire others through their unconscious minds to tell you that. If it is fear of rejection by your parents or other loved ones, the negatives will tell you that this is what will happen if you do what you love, and they may even encourage your loved ones subconsciously to reject you. But you are here to live your life as you feel called to by spirit. Not doing so will bring you pain and waste your special skills. You are not called to do something for which you have no skills. That would not make sense. Your soul is very sensible in planning your life. You can trust that what you love to do is something you have enough talent for. You may not be the best, but you don't have to be to make a significant contribution. It may be several lifetimes before you will use your talents optimally, but that is no reason not to use them now and take them as far as you can. Trust yourself. Trust your intuition and trust your joy. These will tell you what you need to do to be happy and fulfilled. Your guides and others like us use your intuition and joy to lead you to fulfill your soul's plan. You know exactly what you need to be happy and fulfilled, but you don't always trust that you do. So the answer to the question, "What can you do for us?" is to trust your intuition and follow your joy. Then you will be in alignment with your soul's plan. And when you are aligned with our plan, you will be fulfilling your mission and therefore ours. We don't expect you to perform your mission perfectly. Thinking you have to do something perfectly keeps some of you from ever beginning. We accept the imperfection of third density and the imperfection of being human. You too must learn to accept imperfection. Another thing you can do for us is to consciously align yourself with us. You do this by making a statement. In so doing, you also help to fend off any negativity that might be trying to enter your consciousness. Every day, several times a day, affirm your desire to be aligned with the light and all forces working for the light. By continually affirming this, you make it difficult for the negative forces to use you, and that helps us. Stay clear and positive emotionally and mentally. Pray for love, peace, healing, and goodness on earth. Trust your feelings and intuition. Bless you, and thank you. Chapter 9. On the Way to Ascension. What is ascension? Ascension, as we define it, means moving into another dimension and all that it entails. You and your planet are ascending into fourth density. Fourth density differs greatly from third, so the consciousness and any reality created from that consciousness will also greatly differ. Thus, fourth density Earth will be a very different place from third density Earth, and those who live there will also be very different. Not everyone who is here today will return to the planet in their next incarnation. Many will choose to be reborn on another third density planet, where they can continue with the lessons of third density. Those who no longer need third density will remain here as Earth ascends or return in their next incarnation. Some people currently on Earth are almost ready in fourth density consciousness, but cannot fully express it because the density of the planet and her population will not support such expression. This is not yet a fourth density world. Earth is quickly moving to this level, but the human population is still mostly in third density, and this is causing some problems in your world. Over the next decades, however, many of these people will leave the planet, and that will make it much easier for those remaining to move forward and experience a higher level of consciousness. Every planet and every human being eventually ascends, and today, this is happening in greater numbers than ever before. Many people have incarnated at this time to do just that. This is an excellent opportunity for many to move forward. In addition, the planet needs these individuals to make the necessary global changes that will support a higher state of consciousness. No one is here just for their own growth. Always there is a give and take. Those benefiting in these important times serve the planet, and vice versa. It is a privilege to be alive today on Earth. Many others who would like the chance have not been given it because there simply are not enough available bodies. Those of you who are here are fortunate indeed. Many of the extraterrestrials observing the planet are here because of the shift to fourth density. Some are here to help, some to observe, just as one might attend a loved one's graduation, and some are here to try to stop the shift. Ascension cannot be stopped, but some of the negative groups are trying to delay or derail the process. Every person whose ascension is delayed is a victory for the negative forces. Ascension means being free from the suffering and conflict of third density. The negatives, however, wish to perpetuate the suffering of third density. When people leave third density, it proves that light overcomes darkness. That is not their reality, and they don't want it to become yours. Ascension fills you with light. In the ascended state, you live in peace, love, and harmony with all. The negative forces believe that this state is a state of weakness. They do not see the strength of love, nor do they believe in it. They believe love exists, but they do not believe it is worth striving for. And some striving is required. Ascending takes a commitment to overcoming the ego, which looks out only for itself. Indulging the ego is the path of least resistance. It takes little effort to follow this path, although the consequences are often troublesome. Negative forces do not believe in self-mastery, which is overcoming the ego, but in mastery over others. They use their will not to conquer their own weaknesses, but to exploit the weaknesses of others. That is their idea of mastery. Anytime you work at overcoming negativity, hatred, sloth, discouragement, jealousy, and greed, you gain self-mastery. The negative forces use these negative states to control you, to master you. One reason life is so hard is that these forces work to make it so. Not only do you have to contend with your own human foibles, but with the negative forces who will try to exploit these foibles. However, once you know of the negative's existence and how they operate, you are empowered to master them rather than be mastered by them. There are 4th density and even 5th density worlds that have not ascended. These are the service to self worlds, where only those dedicated to serving themselves live. Those in these worlds evolve intellectually, but not spiritually. When they finally choose to relinquish the path of service to self, they make an enormous leap in their evolution. However, then they also have to face the karma they created on these worlds, and balancing that may take eons. They do this in 3rd density, and then ascend to 4th density when they have completed their karma. From the creator's standpoint, this is just another way to evolve. A more difficult one to be sure, although those who make this choice cannot be convinced of this. Your world is moving into 4th density, and you will need to ascend in order to remain here. That does not mean that 3rd density Earth will cease to exist. 3rd density Earth will not disappear. It will continue in a parallel reality, in many parallel realities in fact, and many who are not yet ready for ascension will return to an Earth in one of those parallel realities. In these worlds, life will continue as if ascension never occurred. Those choosing this experience will learn important lessons about the choices they have made, now and earlier, that are not in alignment with ascension. It will not be easy. To understand this better, we will say more about parallel realities. When an individual or a planet comes to a crossroads, every possible choice at that crossroads is explored in a parallel reality. Thus, there are many parallel versions of you living parallel variations of your life in which you explore the consequences of each choice you could have selected. One parallel reality is not more real than another, but an individual's consciousness resides in one reality more than the others, and that reality will be the real one to that person. This does not make any of the other realities less real. So when we say that Earth is ascending, we mean that many people on Earth today will experience ascension as their reality. They will experience it because they are ready to experience it, meaning that they are willing to believe it is possible, willing to create it, and willing to receive it. When we say that Earth is moving into 4th density, we are speaking to those of you who, on some level, wish to create this and are willing to become part of this reality. Those who are not ready or willing to conceive of it as a reality will not experience it. They will continue in their 3rd density lives on Earth. Therefore, at some point, there will be a splitting off, and that is the momentous occasion that many of you are preparing for and awaiting. 3rd density Earth may or may not survive as a place for humanoid evolution. Much depends on the choices made. In one parallel reality, it could be taken over by negative extraterrestrials. In another, it might destroy itself through nuclear war. In yet another, it might turn the corner and ascend later. There are infinite possibilities, and therefore, infinite parallel realities connected with not only 3rd density Earth, but also 4th density Earth. Anything that is possible exists in some parallel reality. This is how the Creator explores all possibilities and learns from them. You cannot fully grasp this at the time, so we and others like us try to explain this to you in various ways. We hope we have succeeded in clarifying this somewhat. We accept that you cannot completely understand it, and you should too. Much of what is given to you through channels is difficult to put into language because our reality differs so much from your current reality. We hope you understand that one reason the information coming through channeling varies is because of the language problem. Not only do channels have different facilities with language, which influences the message, but your languages lack words for the concepts we try to convey. So, we do the best we can with the available language. We are sure you can appreciate that a new reality will require new words to describe it. In trying to convey our concepts to you, we risk sounding contradictory and irrational, but please do not dismiss our message as a result. The communication process is also open to inaccuracy and interference by others who are trying to mislead you. Nevertheless, channeling is the best and most direct means we have for communicating with you until we can be face-to-face with you. When that day comes, misunderstandings will still occur, but they won't be such a problem. Besides, everyone will then at least be listening to us. Right now, only a fraction of you are willing to listen to or read material such as this. Not everyone is open-minded enough or up to the challenge of sifting through it. This material challenges your ability to think for yourself and discriminate, and not everyone wants that responsibility. Many would rather be told what to believe and what not to believe. Hopefully, those of you who read material such as this are willing to question your beliefs and make your own decisions about what you believe. There are some who accept anything without discernment, but they can't do that for long without running into contradictions. That's when many stop reading, finding it easier to toss it all aside than sort through it and decide what seems true to you. We appreciate those of you who have the courage and tenacity to do this. No one will be able to explain ascension to you in a way that you can understand until you actually experience it. But hopefully, our explanation and those of others will help you prepare for it. We hope that just because the information coming through different sources is confusing and sometimes contradictory, you won't dismiss this important message. Fortunately, most of you take this information in through your heart and will find that it resonates there as truth, even if it doesn't make much sense to your rational minds. Still, it can be frustrating to know and trust something without being able to put it into words or prove it to others. Most of you feel uncomfortable about believing in ascension because it is a radical idea. However, those of you who do believe it don't seem to be able to help it. You just know it is true. But it will help you feel more comfortable and safe if you simply live your lives as you would if you did not hold this belief. This helps ensure that your ego or the negative forces don't use this belief to avoid the responsibilities and growth that are part of your lives now. It is tempting to conclude that you don't need to get an education or bother with other mundane duties if you are going to ascend. Beware of that kind of thinking. It is dangerous to change your future plans based on the belief that you and the world are going to ascend. You are still the creator of your reality, and you need to create the ascended reality and perform the tasks you came here to do. Preparing for Ascension. What can you do to prepare for ascension? First, it is vital that you keep your emotions and mind free from negativity, which is why we have made such an effort to tell you about the negative forces. Become aware of your thoughts and feelings every moment, and ask yourself where they are coming from. Then, choose whether you will own that thought or feeling. If it is not helpful, discard it, because it either doesn't belong to you or no longer needs to belong to you. If negativity or difficult feelings persist or have an obsessive quality to them, find a healer who can help you. You may need to have an entity cleared or undergo past life therapy. Meditation may help, but many need both meditation and healing to get beyond deep issues or entity intrusions. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Lightworkers and star people are bombarded with negativity these days. Meditate. This is very important because it helps to clear your mind and emotions and makes room for spirit to communicate with you. Meditation is the most important thing you can do to prepare yourself for ascension. It clears your energy field and allows you to hold more light. It literally enlightens you. Prayer. We hope we have impressed upon you the importance of asking for help. Prayer is simply invoking the help of higher forces. Ask for strength, courage, faith, guidance, healing, whatever you need. You will receive exactly what you need in accordance with how much you want it and are willing to receive it. Affirm your alignment with the forces of light. You are on their team, and they are on yours. Know it, affirm it, and declare it daily. Weed out anything that stands in the way of feeling aligned with the light. Did you do something wrong for which you need to make amends and forgive yourself? Then make amends, forgive yourself, and move on. Do you feel you are not worthy enough? That is never true. Dismiss that thought, ask for help from higher forces, or seek help from a healer. Open your heart to others. In serving others, even in small ways, you serve all. And in serving all, you serve the Creator. The beauty of this is that you also serve yourself, because the rewards of service are so great. Service heals. It heals your heart and balances your karma. Find ways to serve every day. Any kind of service will do. It is the act of choosing to serve that is so powerful, not only to the one receiving, but also to the giver. When you give, you feel good about yourself, and feeling good about yourself makes it easier for you to receive the good that is yours. Giving can also help overcome guilt or the sense of unworthiness that can stand in the way of feeling aligned with the light and receiving all that the light has to offer you. Be kind. When you are kind, you heal others, and it makes it easier for them to act kindly in turn. Kindness snowballs. One act of kindness leads to many others. Unfortunately, unkindness works the same way, which makes it all the more important that you are kind, even in the face of unkindness. Today, why not make kindness your mission? It is a powerful choice, and one that will also heal you. Do what makes your heart sing. You have a unique mission to accomplish, and you discover it by following your heart, by doing what you love. What keeps you from following your heart? Probably fear. Work through these fears. Get help from a healer if need be, but don't let fear stop you. Fear is no reason to be unfulfilled. If you won't do it for yourself, then do it for others, because the rest of the world needs you to be doing what you came here to do. Learn to receive and appreciate. So much in life is given without struggle. The beauty of this earth, the love and friendship of others, the pleasure of your bodies and senses, the sweetness of a flower, the smile of a child. These are gifts free and available to all. Those of us who are no longer in a body, who can no longer participate in the joys of physical life, fondly remember these treasures. Be sure to let these joys touch you. Your journey will be so much easier. And finally, laugh. Take yourself and life more lightly. The life you are living is just one of the stories in the book of who you are. If only you knew the whole story. Peace to you.